We're starting in 5 minutes, boys.
Okay, thanks, Monma. Really excited for the show today. Hopefully it's going to be a good one. Whoa, look at this. Jimmy the Bag, a message from Gabe Morency. I wonder what this could all be about. Let's take a look at this, Jim.
What's up, Pete? I got good news and I got bad news. Good news is I'm coming to San Jose, Costa Rica. We're going to be kicking it live. It's going to be an awesome betcast, Super Bowl 52. The bad news is if I don't do well on the tables, I might have to borrow a couple of bucks and I might have to sleep on your couch. But either way, we're going to tear it apart, man. Super Bowl 52, live from Costa Rica. See you there, Pete.
Jimmy the Bag. Gabe Morency is going to be joining us for our Super Bowl podcast. This is scary and exciting at the same time. Jimmy the Bag, what do you think? Are you looking forward to this?
Very much so, man. It's not a party unless Gabe Morency's down here.
You think you can handle hanging? You think you can survive an entire Super Bowl in the same room with Gabe Morency?
Super Bowl day's the only day you're allowed to get day drunk. You're allowed to get all fucked up. It's part of the fucking celebration.
I just had a brainstorm. You know, it'd be a great idea is if Donnie Rightside came down here too. You think he'd be willing to come down?
Check this shit out. I'm way ahead of you, Pete.
No way.
Oh, Jimmy, I'm in. Send me down there. Costa Rica, let's do it. February 4th, Super Bowl Sunday, live betcast. We'll be there before, during, and after the game, breaking it all down. Let's win some money.
All right, well, it looks like we're going to have a full house for the Super Bowl Betcast, the official SBR Super Bowl Betcast. There's going to be Jimmy, me, and Donnie, and Gabe, all powered by BetOnline, and it's going to start at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, Super Bowl Sunday, February 4th. Jimmy the Bag, are you psyched?
Psyched, man. Let's get that cash.
Sportsbook Review's Super Bowl Betcast is brought to you by BetOnline.
Okay, we live? All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to SBR Sports Picks. My name is Peter Loshak. His name is Jimmy the Bag. This is the Loshak in the Bag show for Super Bowl week, Monday, January 29th. Once again, I'm very well rested, Jimmy the Bag.
Oh, yeah?
You know why? Because I slept all day Saturday, all day Sunday, pretty much, except for a few. That's no exaggeration. People think I'm bullshitting. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's good because Mondays are usually good for me. I have looked at all the college games today and already put my bets in for the college games. And of course, no NHL today, but we do have NBA. And then we'll quickly take a look at some line moves and think about props. We'll have a quick discussion about the NFL before this segment is over. So yeah. Monday. We're going to do it all over again this week. You think we're going to have a profitable week this week, Jimmy the Bag?
I think we're going to have a profitable week today.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to work day at a time.
Yes.
And not get too caught up in the week. But yeah, I feel really good. I like this card today.
Absolutely.
I like the size of it.
Absolutely. Yes, me too. Take it day at a time. Do you think that? Do you think we're going to be able to have make any good jokes between now and the end of this week in these shows?
I think so.
Very likely.
I
yes,
think so.
Yes. That's the one thing we bring every week. I think, right? Pretty entertaining show, which we lean on just in case when the picks go bad, right, Jim?
Anytime we slow down on the comedy, the chat picks it right up for us.
Yes. Joshua Yanez says, what the fuck, Loshak? You finally look cleaned up and decent. Yeah, I mean, the truth is that, like, whether I look fucked up or whether I look cleaned up and decent, it's never really intentional. It's just when I look fucked up, it's because I am fucked up. And when I look cleaned up and decent, it's because I am well rested and have taken a shower and was able to clean up. You know what I'm saying?
I do. I think you look sharp.
Yes, yes. And so that's, I mean, that's, again, it's like the honesty of this show is what I think makes it so appealing. Like when I look fucked up, it's not an act, you know? I really am fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Like this mustache, it's not an act. It's not glued on. It's a real, the hair is, you know what I mean? So it's like, I can't really fake it. So when I feel, you know, when I'm well rested, when I've taken a shower, and I've done my laundry, I'm going to come into the shows and I'm going to look cleaned up and decent. There's no way for me to fake it, Jim. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You're transparent.
Yes.
You are who they say you are.
Yes. Absolutely. Rand Wilson saying Loshak is on a roll looking like a nerd. Okay. But what you don't know, though, is that I am in a bit of a transition in terms of my appearance. You know, I'm transitioning to look as much as I can like Jimmy the Bag. Should I let it out of the bag?
Yeah.
Fucking Superfly. Ron O'Neal. I checked his mustache. I checked his sideburns. I checked his hairline. I was like, I can do that. And I'm going to do, I don't know if you noticed, but my sideburns are like extending out a little bit.
They are extending out.
Yeah, that's intentional, Jimmy the Bag. I'm trying to look as cool as I can for Super Bowl weekend. We're going to have a bet podcast live from Hako.
Oh, yeah. Dangerous, man. We get in a night early, too. Shit.
Are we really?
Yeah.
Now, as I sit right here, again, well-rested, showered, laundry, it seems like it's going to be fun. But come Thursday afternoon, I'm going to be exhausted, fucked up, frazzled, and fried. I don't know what's going to happen this weekend, Jim.
I think it's important not to get too fucked up on Saturday nights. I think that's going to be my thing, is not to get too fucked up. And I'm worried because of the legend. We have Gabe Morency, the party monster, with us. And
Jim, I get naturally fucked up by the natural chemicals in my head. It's not from substances that I take. I can't help but getting fucked up if I don't have enough sleep. You know what I'm saying, Jim?
I do. See, I abuse substances.
Yes, so. I know. I mean, that's what most people have to do. And that's what I realized from day one. I think that like the substances that most people have in their brains that gets them fucked up, I just have naturally in my head. And I've learned to adapt because I've had it every day for my entire life. But I remember when I was in high school, I'm not even kidding, like, and even when I was like 25 and working, people just would not believe that I wasn't like a drug user, that I didn't have drugs to sell them. And like when I would go to like concerts, you know what I mean? Like I would go to concerts, or even sometimes when I go out in Costa Rica, like I'll just like stand there, just like trying to have a good time. People would come up to me and like ask me what I have, you know what I mean? And I would be, and like they would get insulted when I would be like, "What are you talking about? No, I don't have any drugs," you know. But ever since like high school, through to my first jobs, through to like going to any kind of show outside in New York City, or even going out in Costa Rica, people just always assume that I'm fucked up and also ask me if they can buy some of what I have.
I like that.
And the answer is I never have anything except for some jokes and some insights into the meaning of life. All right, so let's see. All right. Just scanning some comments, and then we will get into the handicapping today. How about that, Jimmy the Bag?
Let's do it, man. But here's this. Teddy B says, Bag, I took 2 of your picks on Saturday and lost. What the fuck, man? Come on, I thought you had locks. Bag, I tailed you on the parlay picks.
2 of you give out picks on Saturday, huh?
I gave out 0 picks, Teddy B, so I don't know what the fuck you're talking about on Saturday, man. So if I had a pint glass of sperm, it would have your name on it, Teddy B.
Yeah. Listen, I should be giving out some of my picks because in general, I'm again, like the end of January and February is when I start to see things well in college basketball, and hopefully that's not quite reflected in my overall record on my official picks in these shows yet, but you know, it is reflected in my personal picks, my personal betting, and I think I got some some winners from college basketball today. We'll see what you have to say about it. All right, so let's move on. Charmy, let me quickly just save these comments just so I can because I am planning. You know, when baseball season comes, when basketball season's over, we'll have a lot more time to do some of the things we wanted to do. I'm going to review all these comments and take my favorite ones and do something with them. Hopefully, I'll be able to make a calendar out of them or a poster out of them or whatever. But okay, so let's get into NBA. All right, Jimmy the Bag. Let's throw the NBA record up, which I guess we got to do because, again, the friggin' honesty thing is a lot harder when your record is shitty like mine is. Your record is still positive in the NBA, doing well, Jimmy the Bag, and I am clawing back, although I believe I had kind of a negative day on Friday in the NBA. I don't remember exactly what happened, but I think I got snake bit again with some of my picks in the NBA, but I am clawing back from my worst record. Last week I was up like 10 units, which is why I'm now down only 15 units instead of my low point of 25. Right, Jimmy the Bag?
Yeah, I fucked up with that Spurs game.
Yes.
Spurs-Sixers lost 3 units. God damn, that really
Very tough,
burned.
very tough, the San Antonio Spurs. And in NBA news, though, the Cleveland Cavaliers over the weekend, I don't know if you noticed this, Jim, but they put together a friggin' wire-to-wire game and got a full game cover. Did you notice that?
I did notice that. And Omar Magana right here says Cavs are going to start a streak.
Yeah.
I think it was a good spot. And I think Lou waited too long before bringing Tristan Thompson, the Canadian boy, back into the starting lineup, and I expect them to get better.
I mean, the thing about the Cavs, though, is if they have, they're one of these friggin' teams. If they have 2 or 3 games where covering spreads, the lines will adjust like super fast immediately. I don't think. I would be surprised. I'm just saying I would be surprised if going forward the Cavs are actually better than 50% ATS, right? It's just it's so easy for them to get overvalued, and I feel like the general malaise that they've had, as far as definitely at least as far as a double-digit favorite is concerned, or as any kind of a big favorite, is likely to not be solved for the entire season, right, Jim? Or do you disagree with that? Hard to say.
I think that there are changes on the way. I've heard that they're trying to make a move for George Hill. I don't think. I mean, if his play with the Kings is any example of what his play is going to be like and it should be.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to help. But I think there's changes in store, and I still think that obviously they have the nucleus of a very strong basketball team.
Yes. All right. So let's get into the 6 games today. Let's see. What are the games that I was considering? Well, we do have Boston and Denver. That's an interesting one. Obviously, Boston is coming off of a couple tough games, right? They came off their Golden State game, which was a loss, but they did get a cover. And Denver's starting to pick it up at home. Is this maybe a letdown spot for Boston? Is Denver maybe a good bet here? What's your take on this one, Jim?
I think this is a letdown spot for Boston, but I'm afraid to pull the trigger on the Nuggets right now, although I do know that Twadi Latte is liking the Nuggets at +1.5.
That's a good sign.
And I believe... I'd have to double check, but I believe he had the over 2. I looked at it before I came in. 2 nights after scoring 130 points against the Knicks, the Nuggets only put up 91 against the visiting Mavs, barely squeaking out a victory. Jamal Murray was held out of the lineup, starting lineup for violating team rules, which they didn't really explain. He'll be back in the starting lineup tonight. Wilson Chandler left the game at halftime due to a migraine. Should be back. Good to go tonight. They are 19-6 at home, but recently have home losses to both the Hawks and Suns. Celtics are coming off that nice game, 109-105 loss at Golden State on Saturday night. Boston has lost 5 of 6. They're 17-7 on the road this year. Marcus Smart will be out for 2 weeks with a lacerated hand, and this is the final game of their 4-game road trip, which we saw them lose to the Lakers, beat the Clippers, and lose to the Warriors. Let's see. Dan Kelly says Boston 4th and last game of trip. Bad spot for them.
Yeah. I was leaning Denver and the over here. Denver actually opened as a 1.5-point favorite. It's actually gotten bet down. It's now down to 1 market wide, which, maybe we throw that line move out, but it's certainly not insignificant. And I was leaning to the over. It opened at 204.5. It's now up to 206. I would still be leaning over at 206. Jimmy the Bag, what do you have to say about this game? What do you think?
I think this is very interesting. I agree with Luke Charleston's point here. Not that I necessarily fully agree with it, but my fear is that Boston comes out and wants to finish this road trip strong. And he says take Boston money line. But I do like the over. I do think the over is a good play. Oh, yeah. Sorry, my fault. Twadi's on Boston +1.5. My fault. So sorry about that. Melee Payless Way says Boston game under. I like the over here. I think there are going to be baskets. I think that the Nuggets, too, step up against better teams and play down to their level of opposition. But I'm always concerned with the Celtics defense, but we haven't seen too much of it on this past road trip.
Meaning that it's good.
I think they have a good defense, but it hasn't looked very good on this road trip.
Everyone in chat box here is liking the over. Art Mead, over 206, Boston Celtics and Denver Nuggets. Except for Payless Way likes Boston game under, but everyone else, Reggie likes Denver and the over. Ian Jackson, Denver and the over. Baseball Bob, over is a strong lean. McGodster says if the Nugs win, it goes off over. If Boston wins, it goes under. Okay. Let's see. Christian Riva says I like Boston over. Coop Bois 407 says love the over in the Denver and Boston game. Corey Dickerson, Nuggets and over. Nate Pereira says Boston needs this win. Baseball Bob likes the most people like in the over, and kind of a split opinions on the side here, Jim.
Yeah, and what line movement has the over? As the
a slight move to the over. It opened about 204.5, 205. Now it's up to 206.
Yeah, I think the over is a good play, and I'm afraid to take a side here. I think 2 things can happen. One, that Boston can decide to finish this strong, and I never know when the Nuggets are going to go off for 130 and when they're going to just struggle. And they struggle when the pace slows, and I'm sure the Celtics will try to slow the pace down. Swytech says whole world is on the over. Give me the under then.
And someone else said that if Boston covers, it goes under. And here we go. Dan Kelly. Man, I love Dan Kelly. Maybe homo here in this situation. Let's see. Dan Kelly. Look at this. Look at these kinds of comments. Yeah. Dan Kelly says, this is the 5th time Boston has played a 4th game of a trip in the past 2.5 seasons. That's all in lowercase letters. Then he switches to all uppercase letters. I just checked it. They have covered every time by a big differential. Boston might be the play here. And if Boston covers, that might mean that the under is a good play. Whole world on the over.
Yes, I am not going to put in the play on this game at this point. I certainly do not feel comfortable.
Dark Kent says Boston team total over. Now there's a thought. Yes. And then Greg Schneider says all in caps, stay off this game. Yeah, I mean, wow. Now I'm thinking Boston might be the play. I'm thinking that maybe the under might be the play, but that the Boston team total over might be the play. You know what I'm saying?
I do. I do. And this card is one of those cards that gives us a lot of time to spend with these games. We don't need to rush onto other games.
Yes.
And I'm not going to rush and make a decision.
And here we go. Dan Kelly again, all in caps. Maybe Brad Stevens likes fourth games of trips. Yes, Ray Peralta says, I like Boston guy. Marcus Wood says, over is too obvious, Loshak. They scored 250 last game. They played now, and odds makers give us 205. Classic bait play. It's going under, brother. Wow. See, this is why these now I'm convinced. These fucking commenters are sharp.
These comments are very sharp. That's both Dan and Marcus' comments are very, very
yes.
sharp.
Melas Palos Way once again comes in with under. MOOK25 says Boston money line. Cap'n 24/7 says take Boston and leave the total alone. Lou H says Boston wins today, fellas. Kyrie is pissed.
What about Brent Brooks? He says if Lottie says over, then it's fucking over.
Okay, but Lottie says over probably because just of a general model that he's got there that's based on basic power rankings, which would also play right into what Marcus Wood says, which is that the power rankings would say that this would go over at 205. The reason his total is set where it was is because it's a classic bait play and it's going under. And someone else said that if Boston wins, it goes under. And Dan Kelly comes in and says Boston is very likely to cover here. I think we got it. I think the play is Celtics and the under. I mean, this is just how good these commenters are. I think the classic is, Dan Kelly also says, this is a classic small sample size. Except that he also said that they covered by wide margins. Look, taking everything in aggregate from all the commenters, I think the play has got to be Boston in the under. And maybe hedge it out with a Boston team total over, which will cash if the game goes over, or if Boston cashes, likely.
Wow, Swiatek says 91% on Boston, line not moving.
Line is moving a little bit, Swiatek. It went from +1.5 to +1.
You're right.
Line did move a little bit. And then Marrakech City says definitely a stay away game. And Eric Swiatek then comes in, Celtics and under is my lean though. Joshua Yanez says Boston on the road. Kyrie is going to bang it out on their last road game before a small little break. Wow. Very interesting stuff. Jimmy the Bag. I think Boston in the under is the play.
It certainly feels like that, and Vitalis is whining, says this is classic of too much time on one game.
Okay. Thank you very much, Vitalis. All right, let's move on, but I'm going to wait to see where the lines move. If it goes up to 2 or 2.5, then maybe I'll take Boston on the money line, and we'll see where the total moves, but it is, it's now actually headed down. It's now actually coming down as we talk. I'm going to grab the under here. It's still 206 at Bookmaker, and I'm going to grab that one.
It already dropped to 205.5 at places?
Yes, let me see. Hold on. I just refreshed it. And, it's down to 206 minus 113. It's down to 205 at Bet Online, 205.5 at other places. And I'm going to grab the bookmaker line right now. I like the under 206 minus 110. I'm going to grab that one. I'm going to hold off on taking Boston right now. But
Schneider will be at the game tonight, and he's
really
not sure what to think.
Okay. Well, I'm going to take the under for now. 206 minus 110. That's the current line at Bookmaker. It does appear to be headed down, and I'm agreeing with everyone else. I'm leaning Boston now, even though that was my first thought was on the other side. And I guess we can move on. I am making the under an official play. Jim, you want to touch this one or move on?
Not at this point.
All right, let's move on to a pick that you want to give, Jim, if any.
Yes, I'm going to take the Pacers at home this evening. They're coming off a game that wasn't very good. 114-112 home victory over the Magic on Saturday night. They fell behind by as many as 21. McMillan is upset with his team's starts and promises that won't happen. It's on his watch. He says he's going to push them to start stronger. Maybe that means the first half play should be in order, but we can get to that in a bit. Lance Stevenson had 21 off the bench. Miles Turner came back after missing 9 games with an elbow injury. He was not comfortable out there, in foul trouble all night, but I think he'll improve every game out, so I'm not concerned. But he just put up 4 points in 11 minutes. McMillan said he was rusty and hesitant. Pacers are 16-10 at home, 6-4 for their last 10. And the Hornets are coming off a 95-91 loss at Miami. Howard put up another big game, 20 points, 16 boards. He's playing very well of late, averaging 17.6 points, 15.6 boards, 4.6 blocks over his last 5 games. They've won 4 of 7. Marvin Williams either just gives Howard space to put up big numbers, But I mean, he's just not giving them enough if you break down the stats. And I've got to watch more closely. Is Marvin Williams just helping Howard put up these monster numbers and giving Howard space? Because he started every game this year and he's averaging just 9.6 points, 4.8 boards. Michael Carter-Williams is questionable with the shoulder strain. Cody Zeller close to returning from knee surgery. Hornets are just 6-14 on the road, and I like the Pacers here.
I was thinking that as well. Is that a little bit too obvious, though? I have a feeling someone's going to come. I have a feeling like a bunch of people are going to come and chat and say, like, this is too obvious. Charlotte rolls, those kinds of comments.
But you can't trust Charlotte on the road. I mean, that's the thing. But yeah, I guess Charlotte's playing well.
Yeah.
In the last few games, so that's why the line is the way it is. They've been playing better than Indiana.
I did bet this one. I bet Indiana -3, and I also bet the under on this game as well. And wow, I got when I bet it, I got 214.5. It's now down to 212.5. Wow. All right, I mean, I don't like to take this bad number, but I will grab the under here. Under 212.5 minus 108. That's the current line at Pinnacle. Again, I got that one at 214.5, and I also took the first half under, and I think I will double up on this one. And what do you want here, Jim? You want Indiana?
Brent Brooks asked if Miles is going to be back in the lineup. He will. What does it matter to me if it's an obvious move?
Are people saying that? It's an obvious move, don't do it?
No one's saying don't do it, but they're saying perfect spot. Marrakech said he's a perfect spot to pick Indiana for a decent price. Charleston says, I'm on Indiana.
Yeah.
Oladipo goes off tonight.
Vitalis says, take the Hornets +4 and not stress, although the line is just 3. I don't know where you're seeing 4, but understandable. Yes.
Jeremy M., I love the Pacers to win, just so damn sick of them not covering the spread. I don't care. Yes, this is an obvious spot. Charlotte is playing better basketball right now, and that was mentioned by somebody. I believe it was Marrakech City said that. Pac-Man. Lil Pac-Man said Jimmy Charlotte is on fire. They're playing well, but Indiana is a good team at home. And I trust them in this spot. I'm definitely not going to double up on it, but I trust them on this spot. I'm going to take them.
All right. Okay. So the best line right now would be Indiana -3, -102. That's the current line at Pinnacle. A little bit of a line move there. Once again, I took the under. I took 202.5. I'm sorry, 214.5, and it's now down to 212.5 -108 at Pinnacle. So that's a good sign for my bet. I don't like to take the bad line. I also took the first half under at 109, and that is also not available anymore. I'm going to have to take 108.5. All right. Don't like to this. This happened to me last Monday. In fact, last Monday, the friggin' Philadelphia Memphis game. I bet it at 2:00. I have it stuck in my brain. I bet it at 206.5 on the under. I had taken it in the show at 204.5 because the line moved and it landed on 205. So these 2-point line moves in NBA totals definitely matter. But I will take the first half under as well. 108.5 -106. That's the current line at Pinnacle. So I'm on the under. In both of these, Jim's going to take Indiana -3, -102, and I liked Indiana as well. And you said the coach was saying, you guys got to start fast. You guys got to start better. Is that what he said?
He did. He was very upset with the start of late. And I think that Miles Turner is going to get more comfortable now. Vitalis and Pac-Man Lil are both on Charlotte to win outright. But I feel like this is a nice spot. Omar has a nice point. He says Indiana starting to put it back together and starting to streak. Everyone is healthy. Turner needs to jump rope and catch up. I'm not afraid of this spot, but I'm definitely not doubling up on it.
Okay, I'm doubling up on the total on the under. And here we go. Some other comments. Dark Kent says, don't overthink it, Pete. Pacers are low-hanging titties. Okay. Let's see. What else do we have here? Pacers, cash, Melas, Payless way. Omar Magana says, parlay Heat and Pacers for me. Pretty much most people saying that they like Pacers. Luke Charles says, I'm on Indiana. Oladipo goes off tonight. Espiritualate says, I lose on the Pacers, Pistons, and Hawks every time. Ian Jackson says, I like the Pacers leaning under as well. Christian Rivas, Charlotte sucks on the road. And Art Mead and Reggie both like in Indiana. Everyone like it. Jeremy M., I love the Pacers to win. Just so damn sick of them not covering the spread. Greg Schneider loves the Pacers. A lot of people loving the Pacers, except for Vitalis and a few other people.
Pac-Man Lil, yeah.
Did they give their opinions?
Well, Pac-Man Lil just said how Charlotte is being fire lately or hot lately, and they have been playing well. They have been playing well. And that's why we're getting the line that we're getting.
All right, I'm going to hold off this one, even though I did bet Indiana at -3. I did bet the unders, and I will take the first half under and the full game under as well. All right, so now let's move on to, let's see, what's another interesting game here? Well, let's talk about Milwaukee and Philly. Did you look at that game, Jimmy the Bag?
I looked at them all.
Obviously, Milwaukee, since Jason Kidd's firing, 3-0 straight up, 2-1 against the spread, and all 3 of those games went under. Now they're playing Philly, and it's another one. I think I took all unders on this card. Thinking about the under here, I took it at 211. It's now down to 210 or 209.5. Is Milwaukee going to get yet another cover here, Jim?
Sorry, one thing. This is a tough spot. I think the most important point in this game is that the Sixers say that Embiid will be starting his second half of a back-to-back for the first time in his career. He put up 27 points, 10 boards last night. After last night's loss to the Sixers, after last night's loss, the Sixers are just 12-12 on the road. Despite the loss, Sixers have been playing very well lately. Won 5 of their last 7. That's without J.J. Redick. Trevor Booker is now hurt. Markelle Fultz will be unavailable, but Jared Bayless is expected back. And yes, the Bucks have been playing very well since Jason Kidd's firing. Joe Prunty seems to be doing a good job. Jabari Parker will be back soon. Malcolm Brogdon has missed the last 2 straight games with a right calf injury. He's listed as questionable on the injury report. He missed the 116-94 loss to the Sixers earlier this year. I feel like this is a tricky spot. I don't fully believe that the Bucks are a different team. I don't believe they're a different team. They're the same team that they were. They're just going to have more consistency with rotations. And then the Sixers are a tricky team to figure on the second half of a back-to-back.
Spiritualate says, bet Philly first quarter blindly. They have not covered this since Christmas. They haven't not covered this since Christmas. That can't be true. They haven't covered a first quarter since Christmas?
They haven't not covered.
Right, they haven't not covered a first quarter since Christmas? I mean, I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying if that's true, that's incredible. And maybe that is, maybe we should take this one. Here you go. Ray Peralta says, hey, Shaq, I like 76ers first quarter. I already took it, Shaq. Yeah, maybe I will add this one. And here we go. Baseball Bob says, Embiid is tired and will not give 100%. Captain 24/7 says, Bucks game and over. And Lee Davis says, Milwaukee on a back-to-back 11-2 and 2 ATS. That's definitely interesting. I would have to be leaning the Bucks here for sure, but maybe Philly on the first quarter, definitely.
How can you take Philly on the first quarter on the back-to-back that Embiid's never done in his whole career?
Is he playing?
He says he's playing for the first time. But still, I just don't know how you can have confidence on the Sixers in a back-to-back situation after how hard they played against OKC last night. And I don't mean to. Sorry, I didn't mean to be so edgy about that. I don't know how you could do that without fear. They played hard last night. That was a tough game.
Yes.
And now they're coming back in Milwaukee. First time in his whole career he's playing back-to-back. I just think it's a tricky spot. Omar Magana says, yeah, the Philly OKC game was mentally draining. I'm not going to make a play on this at this point.
You don't like Milwaukee minus the points here?
I don't. I think the Sixers are a better team than Milwaukee, but I can't trust the better team on the second half of a back-to-back. That's how I feel.
All right. Well, once again, we'll be back at 6 o'clock Eastern time where Jimmy and I can look into this stuff a lot more. We can look at the line moves. As of right now, I'm definitely leaning Milwaukee full game. I'm thinking about maybe doing the old pussy move, which is taking Milwaukee on the money line instead of -3.5, taking them at about -160 or so on the money line, and thinking about a shot with the under at 210, but I'm going to hold off on that one for now. All right. So you're going to pass on that one?
Stephen Torrey says, I'm sure it's not Sam, I'm sure it's saw Embiid at the casino in Milwaukee until 4 a.m. last night.
Really?
Guy is off his game.
Yeah, I'm thinking this is a good spot for Milwaukee. I think it is a good spot for Milwaukee. I'm going to hold off on it for now. We'll revisit this at 6 o'clock for sure. You want to give a pick on this one, Jim?
No.
All right. Anything else you want to give from the NBA?
Yes, I am. Now, I know this is a low line, but I'm taking the under in the Heat Mavericks game.
Wow, can I just say, put in one thing?
Yeah.
As we speak, the Denver line is creeping up significantly, now up to 2 at Bookmaker. It was 1 when we were talking about it. Now it's up to 1.5 or 2 at Bookmaker and Intertops.
Wow.
Interesting.
And as you predicted.
Yeah,
that.
well, we'll see. Go on, Jim.
I'm on the under Heat Mavericks. Mavericks coming off a tight 91-89 loss at Denver on Saturday, shutting down Denver at home. This team, the Mavericks, continually are able to slow vaunted offense is down. They went into the fourth quarter with a 74-66 lead. They have now lost 3 in a row and 6 of 7. J.J. Barria and Devin Harris are questionable, and Dorian Finney-Smith is out. Mavs are 10-17 at home. Miami won the first meeting between these two, 113-101 at home on December 22nd, but both teams are playing quite differently than they were back then. The Heat snapped a 2-game losing streak with a 95-91 win over the Hornets at home on Saturday night. They held the Hornets to 13 fourth-quarter points. Those of you who think the Hornets are so hot, I mean, that's a very disappointing fourth quarter. Now, granted, Miami has good defense. The Hornets had given up a 12-point fourth quarter lead at home for Sacramento and made sure that they didn't do that again. The Heat are 15-11 on the road. So I can see lots of different angles on this play, but the one I'm most comfortable with is the under.
Okay. I was thinking about that as well. Is that just a little bit too obvious? Is that a trap, Jim, or is that just like don't overthink it type deal?
I don't think when it's under 200 and this is 197, 196.5 that it can be considered that obvious. But yeah,
everyone's saying Milwaukee doesn't have casinos here. That's bullshit. Milwaukee's a sleazy town. Milwaukee's got pimps and whores and everything, right? Remember Pimp Snooki? Pimp Snooki was from Milwaukee. Remember Pimp Snooki from Pimps Up and Hose Down? You ever seen Pimps Up and Hose Down? Remember Pimp Snooki? From Milwaukee. The greatest pimp of the entire show is from Milwaukee. They got some sleazy shit in Milwaukee. Definitely, man. I can definitely see Embiid being at a casino. Everyone's saying that they don't. Brent Brooks says Milwaukee ain't got no damn casinos, man. Sherelle Porsche says, LOL. What darn Milwaukee casinos? A crock of bullshit. No, man. Trust me. They've got some sleazy. They've got some seedy underside of life in Milwaukee, right?
I know they have cheese.
Yeah. Yes. All right. So let's see. You want to take the under on this one, Jim?
I do. I'm not going to be afraid of this spot. I think the under is the play.
197 minus 102 is the best line right now. And I was thinking about this as well. It just seems like it might be one of these a little bit too obvious. I was thinking about the first half under too, which is also at 101, which is higher than 50%. It
is higher than 50%. I mean, I am not afraid of an obvious play in the NHL and NBA. Mm-hmm. I'm just not, and I'm not going to allow that to get into my head. Yes, the Pacers in the under seem like obvious plays, and I'm not going to be afraid to make them.
Mm-hmm. Okay, all right. For now, I will take it. If I look into it more, I will take it back maybe in the afternoon show, but I will go on it with you. Under 197 minus 102, and I will also take the first half under, which is going to be 101.
And Vitalis has it in his model. He is at 98.97.
98.97. All right, that's cutting a little bit close.
It says be careful.
98. Okay, it's cutting a little bit close. I'm going to take the first half under, which would be 101 minus 105. That's the current line at Bookmaker and BetOnline and a few other places. It just has under written all over it, and it's weird that, man, if we come back here at 6 o'clock and it's 200, I'm going to be nervous. I'm going to be thinking we're on the wrong side there, Jim.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to Minnesota, Atlanta. We've had pretty good reads on Atlanta as a nice home dog in spots. Obviously, Minnesota playing great. They're playing a lot better defense right now. And Atlanta's kind of had a run of straight up and ATS margin losing. Now they're getting 6. Are they a good play here, or is Minnesota again going to be a good bet?
Atlanta has all of a sudden become very, very, very inconsistent. I don't mean to say all of a sudden with a team with a shit record like they have, but they really have become very inconsistent. So this is the first of a road back-to-back for Minnesota, so they'll be watching minutes for their top players. They play in Toronto tomorrow night. The Timberwolves have lost 6 of 7 on the road, and they're 12 of 14 on the road on the season. Jimmy Butler returned after missing 4 games with a bruised knee in the Wolves' 111-97 win at home over the Nets. He was just 4 for 14 from the floor, but finished with 21 points, 6 boards, 5 assists. He's having an impressive season. Andrew Wiggins looked very good with Butler out of the lineup, averaging 25.8 points in the 4 games Butler missed. Karl-Anthony Towns went for 19 points, 16 boards in the game. Wolves are 32-20 on the season, but just 8-11 against the East. So we know Atlanta's played well against the East. They are 8-11 as well. Against the West, excuse me. Atlanta has dropped 3 straight and lost badly 4 of their last 5 games. Those 4 losses have been by an average of 16.8 points. They just lost 129-104 at home to the Wizards on Saturday night. Despite being just 14-35 on the season, they played well against the West, as I said. DeAndre Bembry is the only Hawk out of the lineup, but I definitely don't trust this Hawks team anymore. And
are they a young team? Or are they maybe hitting the wall a little bit?
I think so, yeah. I do. I think so. And, I mean, we're talking about a bunch of different things. First off, their point guard has never been the starter for a full season, so he's not used to logging these kind of minutes. And then all their John Collins, all these guys have been battling injuries as well, and I no longer trust the Hawks, and I don't like the Wolves on minute restrictions and how bad they're playing on the road. So I find it a very tricky spot.
What do you think about the under? Their under last game went under against Brooklyn, which is understandable. I had the under on that one. They were an overtrender before that, but it's coincided. Their stronger defensive play has coincided with Jimmy Butler coming back, right? Butler helps him out defensively, right?
I think that is a good play.
Yeah.
In fact, that I didn't have initially.
Think about, yeah.
I do. I really think that is a good play.
All right, well, I'm going to take it. I know I'm taking all unders, and maybe a couple of them will lose, but hopefully more of them will win than not. Under 216 minus 110 is the best line that we can give right now.
I think that is a good play. I'm going to tail it.
Yeah, you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. ATL under 216 minus 110. That's the best line at the Heritage Bookmaker.
American City talks about Minnesota focusing more on defense, and we've especially seen that on the road, even though their record is so poor on the road and of late on the road. But we've seen them amp up their defensive intensity on the road.
And I'm also taking the first half under, which will be 111 minus 105. Kind of a high first half total. 111 minus 105. That's the current line at Bookmaker and Bet Online. And I was thinking maybe even about tripling up, taking the first quarter. Let's see where that would be. 55, 56. That's kind of an interesting play as well. A few of my the plays that I liked on the under on Friday, I was thinking about tripling up with the first quarters as well, and I think there were 3 of them and 2 of them cash or something. So I'm thinking about tripling up on that one. Not going to do it quite right now, but I'm definitely doubling it up. And Jimmy's taking the full game under as well. And I agree with you. I don't really trust Atlanta here. I'm going to pass on the side. And then let's see, what else do we have? I guess the only other game is Phoenix and Memphis, right?
Yes.
You have anything to say about that one, Jim?
I do. I just need to know for sure that Devin Booker will be out of the lineup. As soon as I find out that he's officially out of the lineup, which I believe is almost a certainty. He left the game early with a left rib issue. They're on the second half of back-to-back. They just lost 113-102 to the Rockets yesterday afternoon. Alex Len, Troy Daniels are both out. Booker's going for an MRI today. As soon as I hear he's officially out of the lineup and I see the line move even further in the Grizzlies' direction, I think I'm going to jump on the Suns to cover without him. I like the way they play without him. I like, especially with Troy Daniels out. I think it's a sneaky good spot, but I'm going to wait. Suns have lost 7 of 8. They've beaten the Grizzlies in both meetings this year, 99-97 and 97-95. Both games were at Phoenix. Grizzlies have won 4 of 7. They announced yesterday that Conley's done for the season. The Grizz have gone 10-25 without him in the lineup. Chandler Parsons is also a candidate to be shut down. But let's stop talking about that guy. Tyreek Evans is likely to be back after missing the last 2 games because of illness. Ben McLemore, James Ennis, and JaMychal Green all remain out of the lineup. If this hits to like 10 or something, I don't know if that will happen, but I'm sure that as soon as they announce that Booker's out, that the line will move better. I think the Suns can cover a big spread without him.
Vitalis says Minnesota 112, Hawks 106. So he likes the under on that one.
Or the over, I mean.
Or the over, I'm sorry. And a lot of people like in Minnesota here. Antwain Seymour likes Timberwolves first quarter minus 1.5. I could see that one. I'm thinking maybe if you take just the T-Wolves first quarter, first half, and full game, you'll cash at least 2 of them, maybe 3 of them. Art Mead predicts a score of Minnesota 111, Atlanta 98. Luchase Fox 112-92. Vitalis, Minnesota 112, Hawks 106. Again, Chase Fox says T-Wolves all day, quad up. Yeah. Dark Kent says Minnesota all day.
But Dan Kelly says Minnesota Atlanta second half over looks like a pick. I always wait to see what happened in the first half. Luce says yes, that T-Wolves first quarter is the play.
And why not just first quarter and first half? Why not double up? Sorry, so the Phoenix game's a pass for you, right, Jim?
At this point, but I'm going to be making a play.
Right. All right, so before we move on, let's think about maybe we want to take Minnesota early. I agree that Atlanta is they just seem to me like a fadeable team right now. Unless they're in a spot where they're very well rested against a vulnerable team coming in, which I don't believe is this spot. What do you think? Maybe Minnesota first quarter. Antwain Seymour might really have something there. What do you think, Jim?
I think it is a good play. I'm not going to jump on it at this point. We've got a card that I can sit with all these games for hours and keep talking about it with different people. And I'm not going to jump at that play right now. I like the under 216. I feel like that's a really good pace. I really do. I think that the Timberwolves will up their defensive intensity. I think that Bud Holzer has been yelling at these Hawks for how bad they've been playing and how bad they've been losing. I think there'll be a lot of defensive pressure on the perimeter.
You know, you just said butthole there. You know,
it said Bud Holzer?
Yeah. No, you said butthole, Bud Holzer. I'm telling you, watch the replay. You'll see. You'll see. That's okay. That's all right.
We'll slow-mo it.
It was a good one. Thought you okay. Okay. So let's see. Let's just quickly look at some last-minute comments here, and then we will move on and review the picks. Let's see. Shaq, that's the best play you can make on that game. I think he's applying the Timberwolves first. Under or the first quarter.
I'm not sure, Jeremy. Do you mean the first quarter Wolves is the best play or the full game under?
McLeod Kick says T-Wolves looks like an over team total. Should be a no-brainer. That's interesting. That might be a nice little hedge on the under as well. You could easily cash both of those. Let's see. Let's see. Other comments? Yep. Blue Chase Fox says, yes, that T-Wolves first quarter is the play. That might be a good one. All right. Well, let's, again, we will be back at 6 o'clock Eastern time. We'll review all this shit. We can take back some plays that we don't like, add whatever plays we like on. So far, Jim's has given Indiana -3, the Dallas game under 197, and the Atlanta game under 216. I've given a lot of plays here. I've given the Denver game under 206, the Dallas game under 197, and the first half under 101, the Atlanta game first half under 111, and the full game under 216, and the Indiana game under 212.5, and the first half under 108.5. And I guess that's just about it for today. My
man Nate says I'm setting myself up for losses. Sit back. I feel like I have sat back. I've only made 3 plays.
Yes, I'm the one who's setting myself up for a lot. No, I like all my plays. I'm taking a bunch of unders, and hopefully, 2/3 of them will cash, and then I will be happy. Devin Rivera says, "Don't think the Wolves cover." Dark Kent says,
he says, "Don't overthink."
Don't overthink Wolves.
Yeah.
Don't overthink Wolves cover. Dark Kent says Wolves win by double digits. Yeah, that might be the right play there. We'll look into this a little bit more. We may come back here at 6 o'clock and give this one 3 different ways. T-Wolves first half, T-Wolves first quarter, T-Wolves full game. Right, Jim?
I've been getting burnt by doing too many plays on one game. So
Marrakech City says also Minnesota will be scoring less and less. All right, so let's move on, shall we, Jim? We've broken the hell down out of this NBA card, right?
Yeah. Let's move on to college.
All right, let's move on to college. I handicapped the hell out of this whole game. Let me just go down all the picks that I've given, and then all the bets that I made, and then we'll decide what picks I want to give, and then we'll get Jimmy's opinions. The first thing, listen to this, Jim. I bet Citadel at +18 against Eastern Tennessee State. It's now down to 15. That's a massive move. I bet NC Greensboro at -6. It's now up to 7 or 7.5. That's a massive move. I bet Wofford at -10.5. It's now up to 11. Iona Fairfield, I passed on. Holy Cross, I bet at -2. It's now up to 3.5 or 4. Northwestern, I got at +9. It's now down to 7.5. Let's see. Ryder Monmouth was a pass. Duke, I bet at -14.5. Still at -14.5. St. Peter's Siena, I did take Siena at +2.5. That's still where it is. Sanford VMI, I passed on. Illinois Chicago, that's the one bet that I made that moved against me. I bet them at +3. Now up to +4 or 4.5. Nebraska, Wisconsin, and Kansas State, I passed on both of those games. So I made a lot of bets. Matt, I told you, Jim. I'm feeling it, Jim.
I can tell, man. You're beating a lot of lines.
Except for Illinois Chicago. I took that one at +3. As you know, Jim, I've been looking to fade Milwaukee in all spots unless they're against the bad teams. I thought this would be a good spot to take Illinois Chicago, and I took them at +3. Now up to 4 or 4.5. All those other games I bet, and they have all moved massively in my favor. I don't know if I want to give them all at these worst lines, but I probably should, and I probably will. Jimmy the Bag, you've looked at this card, I know. What would you like to give, if anything?
Interesting. Very interesting. I think you're on the right track with a lot of your plays. First off, I like UIC tonight as well. And I was concerned with the line move quite a bit. Milwaukee's looked very good since getting beat up by the Norse, 91-64 at home on the 18th of January. They've won 3 straight in their barn, including a big win over Wright State that caught people by surprise, 66-61. These teams met on the 12th of January in a dominant home win, 88-73. For UIC. UIC has now won 6 of 7. UIC big Ty Odiasi's been stepping up in a big way, averaging 13.3 points on 63% shooting with 6.3 boards, 3.3 blocks over his last 4 games. And he has proven to be a very difficult matchup for Milwaukee's 6'9", 225-pound big Brett Prawl. In their last matchup, Odiossi held Prawl to 2 points on 1 of 8 shooting with 3 boards, just 3 boards in 25 minutes. Odiossi is a bigger guy. He plays bigger than he is. I believe he's 6'9", 235 or something, but he plays bigger. And I think this is a good spot, and I'm concerned about the line.
I'm not totally concerned about the line move. Again, it is early. This line could come all the way back down to 3 by 6 o'clock. I'm going to throw this one on there, plus 4.5. Illinois, Chicago, plus 4.5, minus 110. That's the current line at Bookmaker and Heritage, although Pinnacle has plus 4, plus 107. I should probably take that one. Jim, what do you want to do here?
I agree. I'm going to take UIC on the full game, plus 4.5. I like them here.
Okay, and I will take it. So you want UIC? God, you know what? I'm going to take, fuck it. I'm going to take them plus 4, plus 107. Which one do you want, Jim?
And what's the plus 4.5 line?
Minus 110.
Yeah, I'm going to take the plus 4.5.
Okay, UIC plus 4.5, minus 110. I'm taking plus 4, plus 107, and I'm thinking about doubling up as well. But I'll hold off. I'll wait to see what the line movement is. All right, let's see. Any other plays you want to give? Because let's quickly review some comments. Let's see. Just let's quickly review some comments. Yes, at Spiritualate, Tuate Latte likes Wofford minus 11. That was definitely a play that I liked. The big question is Wofford's big center going to be back? He's been off for 2 games with a concussion. He's a big key to them. Although I think even if he's out, I'm still okay with it.
Yeah.
If he's back, do you have any news on that, Jim?
Yeah, I've got. I'll grab it right now. I thought I had it up, but I'll grab it right now.
Yeah. I mean, I think that even if he's out, I'm still okay with it. So I'm probably going to give that one as a play right now. Wow, Nick Pereira, is this true, Jim? Someone give Jimmy props on calling the Pegasus Cup perfectly. Is that true?
Well,
did you call the
no, I didn't call it perfectly. I didn't call it perfecally.
Look at you.
No, I didn't call it perfectly.
No?
Gunrunner was exceptional, and he had a wonderful end. But they were way better than all the other horses, and my horse did come in second, only 2.5 lengths behind Gunrunner, and about 8 lengths up in front of everybody else. I miss capping horses all day, very, very much, and I'm having difficulty when I use this fucking whatever it's called. What are these things called? The VPN. I'm having such difficulty getting feeds, and it's fucking annoying. It's what I miss more than I love what I'm doing down here so much, but not spending the week at the track is very bothersome.
Barca Man says, Loshak, tweet your picks. Yeah, I should. I was doing that before when I was looking to beat the line moves, and I probably should do that. If I had done that, I would have beaten a bunch of my picks by I would have gotten the picks that I bet them at. All right, let's quickly let me look at Wofford. We don't know if the guy's going to be back, but I will take Wofford even if he's not back. I bet it. Thinking that even if he's not back, I'll still be okay with the play. I'm going to take Wofford minus 11, minus 106. That's the current line at Pinnacle. I bet it at 10.5, and it's now 11. That's okay.
He's been downgraded.
Downgraded, really,
to doubtful.
Okay, I'm still gonna take it. Minus 11, minus 106. I'm not taking it on the first half, but I'm still gonna take it minus 11. And Jimmy the Bagger, any picks you want to give here?
Yes. I'm a little hesitant to make too many picks, but I'm with Melee Payless Way here on Kansas State +2. I think this is a nice spot for Kansas State. They've won 4 straight. With a win, they'll move into a tie for first in the Big 12. They won 5 of 6. Their only loss was that 73-72 nail-biter at Allen Fieldhouse. Kansas is coming off a 79-68 win over Texas A&M. Lost their previous game 85-80 at Oklahoma when the Sooners fouled Azubuike repeatedly. For some reason, Coach Self didn't pull Azubuike. What an idiot, man. I've never called him an idiot before, but I just couldn't believe he wasn't pulling him. He went 1 for 8 from the stripe. It was all his fault. And he said afterwards, that he doesn't want Azubuike to lose confidence, that he knows that we're going to need him moving forward. So he was just basically, it was like a test for Azubuike that cost me fucking money. Kansas State's won 4 of the last 10 games between these teams at home. They're 11-2 at home on the season. It's been 6 games since Stokes left with a broken hand, and Cartier Diarra has come in and looked great, averaged 13.2 points in those 6 games. Barry Brown stepped up his game, 22 points in these 6 games, up from 17.3 to the averages. Mawian will get the Azubuike challenge, I believe, because they'll try to keep him away from Dean Wade, who's playing exceptionally well. Wade's averaging 16.2 points, 6.5 boards. I like this Kansas State spot, and I'm not sure if I'm going to make a move on it at this point.
Okay, we got some interesting comments. Lou Chase Fox says, I like the over. You know, both teams want this game. That's interesting. Jansen Bonzone says Kansas win by 3. One comment that Jansen Bonzone said, which I'm curious to see if you looked at this game yet. Jansen Bonzone says, where is it? Sorry, Pete, Michigan covers. Jansen Bonzone likes Michigan to cover. Let me just find that one. Yeah, I can't find it. I can't find the comment, but I know Jansen Bonzone says.
Interesting. I know a couple people who think Michigan's going to cover easily, and I was taken aback a bit by hearing that. Northwestern's had a difficult season, but have looked good in back-to-back games. They'd lost 4 or 5 before beating Penn State 70-61 at home and winning at Minnesota 77-69. Coach Chris Collis said the team is simply doing everything better on offense and playing more zone defense. Playing zone defense has allowed them to bring in a small ball lineup. We know they always excel with small ball lineups. Northwestern has had 6 days to prepare for Michigan. I like that. Michigan's coming off that tough 92-88 loss at conference leading Purdue. Shows what kind of team they are. They're a very good team. They played very good versus Purdue. I can't believe they lost. They shot 60.3% from the field, 56.5% from 3, and lost, which is hard to believe. You know, my initial lean was that Northwestern could cover the points, and then when I saw all these people that think Michigan's just going to trash Northwestern, I'm going to stay off the game at this point.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I got it at 9. It's now down to 7.5 or 8, but it was a little bit like I wasn't quite sure of it, but I felt like Northwestern, you know, they've underachieved their preseason expectations so much. It seems like they're turning a little bit of a corner now, and so it seemed like a lot of points, but I might be wrong about that one, and I'm gonna hold off on giving that one as a pick for now. One pick that I will give Holy Cross. I bet it at 2. Now it's up to 3.5 or 4, but Pinnacle still has 3 minus 125. So I'll give Holy Cross minus 3 minus 125. Although bookmaker has 3.5 minus 105, I should probably take that one instead. I like Holy Cross here to cover. I like them a lot more at 2 as opposed to now at 3.5 or 4. But I will take a Holy Cross minus 3 minus 125. That's the current line at Pinnacle. And then also Duke at home against Notre Dame. Notre Dame, of course, banged up, right? I believe one of their guys might be coming back here, but my sense is this is all Duke, all from the get-go. Wire to wire.
You know, no? I'm not convinced that they.
No?
Yes, I mean they're in a good spot after losing to Virginia, sure. But I've been very impressed with how Notre Dame has played with all these injuries, and they have seniors that are going to. Well, it's a very difficult season. Will continue to get tougher for the Irish. They've lost 5 straight, shot under 40% from the field for 6 straight. Team leader, senior starting guard Matt Farrell came back too early from an ankle injury. Lasted 2 games back on the shelf, where he joins Bonzie Colson and DJ Harvey. That's 42.9 points, 15.7 boards, 7 assists out of the lineup. TJ Gibbs did put up a career high 27 points in their loss to Virginia Tech, and 6'10", 252-pound senior Lithuanian Martis Gebin looks very good. 10 points, 8.1 boards, stepping up in a big way. Lines up beside 6'9", 248-pound sophomore John Mooney. They're both playing well together. They both had big games against the small Virginia Tech front court. They combined for 25 points, 20 boards, 8 of them offensive. This Notre Dame team has shown a lot of heart handling these injuries. And yes, Duke is coming off this 65-63 loss to Virginia, which should make them angry. But Bagley, Trent Jr., Grayson Allen each played the entire game. Now, Hal Abraham says Duke going to roll. Notre Dame won't score 60. Al Hart says Duke in the over. I'm just not convinced that they're going to dominate this Notre Dame team that's shown a ton of heart. Even if Notre Dame gets down by 15, 18, they've shown that they're going to keep scrapping. And so I'm not convinced they're going to smash this team.
All right, well, I'm going to take it 2 ways, Jim. I'm going to take Duke first half minus 8, minus 119. That's the current line at Pinnacle. And full game minus 14.5, minus 106. That is the current line at Pinnacle as well. And I was also agreeing with whoever said that they liked the over. It was about 150 before. Now it's down to 148.5 or 149. I would agree with the over. I'm going to hold off on that one for now, but I'm definitely going to take Duke first half minus 8 and the full game minus 14.5. Again, it's 8.5 most places, but Pinnacle has 8 minus 119. So I will take that one. I'm taking Duke 2 ways. And, the other plays that I made, again, Citadel, I bet it at 18. It's now down to 15.5 or 15. Pinnacle has 16.5. And I guess I will throw it on there even at the reduced line. Doing this, you will get burned once in a while. I've already gotten burned at times, and it's possible that will happen in this game as well. But I'll take it. I'll take Citadel plus 16 minus 125. That's the current line at Pinnacle. I also took NC Greensboro minus 6. It's now up to 7 or 7.5. And I'll take that one as well. -7, -110. That's the current line at Greek. Everywhere else has 7.5. Pinnacle has 7, -120. And what else do we have here? And a slight lean to Siena, +2.5 at home against St. Peter's. Anything else you want to discuss, Jimmy the Bag?
I'd like to discuss the Lehigh Holy Cross game. Yes, Holy Cross have been playing very well lately, and that's why they're favorite. But I was kind of leaning towards Lehigh, but I was afraid to pull the trigger. Let's break it down a little bit and talk a bit more about it. In Lehigh's 83-77 January 5th win at home over Holy Cross, Holy Cross went out to a 19-3 lead. Lehigh committed 18 turnovers to Holy Cross's 10 and still won easily. Holy Cross shot 55% from the field, 44% from 3. Everything went right for Holy Cross, and they couldn't beat Lehigh Val. Holy Cross is tiny. Lehigh out-rebounded them 36-27. Lehigh shoots well, 39% from 3, 44% from the field, 76% from the line. Eastern Carolina transfer Lance Tejada averages 15.7 points. He's hitting 49% from 3, 18 for 33 from 3 in his last 4 games. He's moved into the starting lineup. Yes, they've lost 4 straight. 2 were last-second losses, 91-88 double overtime to Loyola Maryland, and lost 77-75 to Navy. Holy Cross beat Loyola Maryland 64-57 at home and lost 61-57 in overtime at Navy in the last little bit. Holy Cross does not shoot well, 33% from 3, 45 from the field, just 65% from the line. They have one guy averaging more than 3.7 boards a game, and that's their lone big in the rotation, Jahive Floyd. He averages 11.6 points, 5.5 boards. And
as you say that, a pretty big, a massive line move, in fact, a huge line move in favor of Lehigh. As you say that, a huge line move in favor of Lehigh. Right before we were talking about it, it was 3.5 or 4. The only place that had 3 was Pinnacle, 3 -125. It was 3.5 or 4. Now it's 3 across the board, except for a few places still holding at 3.5. Massive line move in favor of Lehigh, Jimmy the Bag.
Yeah, if Holy Cross wasn't playing so as well as they have been over the last 3 or 4 games, Lehigh would be a road favorite in this spot, I believe. They just feel like the better basketball team, but how can you say that with how well Holy Cross has played of late? So I don't think this is I think I'm going to spend more time working on this game. I do know, though, that one interesting play is that my man Twadi Latte has the under in this game, and I believe it's still at 139.5.
Let's see. Yes, 139.5 has not moved since.
So that's an interesting
spot.
You know what?
I think you're right, Jimmy the Bag. I can't pull off my pick because I already made it official, but I can take the other side. I'm going to do it. I'm going to take Lehigh plus 3.5 -110. So I guess a slight chance that I could get a free unit here if Holy Cross wins by exactly 3. But based on your analysis and based on what I'm seeing, I just ran some numbers and it said that Holy Cross would probably have an advantage at 2. Again, I bet it at -2, and I gave it at 3.5 here.
Well, I'm happy we've talked this out because Max Smart just jumps in saying Jimmy Lehigh is the play.
Yeah, I think you guys might be right, and I think I'm going to pull my bet. Actually, I got it at 2. I could get a middle here, Jim.
You could, and I think that's enough. Talking out loud, Robert Gilmore says Lehigh all day. Okay, great. That makes me feel good. I'm going to throw Lehigh on. And
all right, and I pulled mine as well. Lehigh plus 3.5 -110. But, I can't pull my Holy Cross play because I entered that as official. So I'm just going to have to take it back on the other side. Lehigh plus 3.5 -110.
Dark Kent says, Jimmy, beware of taking the road team. And you're absolutely right. And there's a spot here. Maxwell Smart says wrong team favored. This is a game where he wants to pounce. I'm going to hammer it like I hammer Asian hoes. Respect. I think that there is it's very difficult not taking some of these road teams that are better than the home team that they're facing, but have difficulty. These kids have difficulty going on the road. And I feel like that's exactly what we're dealing with Nebraska at Wisconsin. Wisconsin's lost 5 of 6 with all those losses coming on the road. Their last home game was that resounding 75-50 victory over Illinois. Dimitri Trice has missed the last 12 games with a foot injury, and he's very close to returning. Would be a huge boost for the Badgers. He's listed as questionable for tonight. Nebraska has won 4 of 5 with their only loss over that span coming at Ohio State. They're coming off a 98-84 win at home to Iowa on Saturday night. Nebraska's bigs have looked very good of late, and I've been talking a lot about them. Copeland, everything changed when Shamanga left for a little bit and Roby took over the starting unit. These three combined for 51 points on 17 for 26 shooting against Iowa. 5 for 6 from 3, 27 boards, 11 of which were offensive. Ethan Happ will have a tough time with 3 bigs coming at him. In Nebraska's Titan 63-59 win over Wisconsin on January 9th, Nebraska went just 2 for 14 from 3. And Roby hadn't taken over the starting duties yet from Shamanga. Happ went 19 points, 11 boards, but fouled out late. Getting him in foul trouble is key to the Huskers' success. I think I want to take Nebraska, but I'm concerned about the idea of taking a road team going into Wisconsin who's been playing okay at home. What do you think?
What? Wisconsin and yeah, that one I was looking at comments. That one I'm passing on as of right now. I think I would have a lean towards Wisconsin on this one, even though, Nebraska's been playing so well. I think Wisconsin probably has turned a little bit more of a corner than they've shown on the court recently. So I was liking Wisconsin here when it was 3. Now it's up to 4. I didn't bet it, though, and I'm probably going to stay off it now with the line moves and just look at a second half play. All right, let's quickly look at some totals here. Some totals here from this college card. I was definitely leaning under in the Wofford game at 141.5. I bet that one. That's down to 141 or 140.5. I was thinking about a shot with the Rider game, even though Rider can be very, very high scoring. That's now 154 or 153.5. Definitely thinking about a shot with the under in Siena St. Peter's, even though it's a very low total. I did bet that one at 128. It's now down to 127.5 or 127. And also a shot with Samford and VMI under, even though Samford has been a very high scoring team. I'm not convinced that this is going to be a game where they're going to run up the score. So I'm going to throw on some totals here. Let me just think about some totals that I want to throw on. I'll throw on the under in the Samford game. Samford under, and that will be 148 minus 110, minus 148, under 148 minus 110. That's the current line at the Greek. I will throw that one on, although Pinnacle has 148.5 minus 123. I will throw on, I really want to throw on the under in St. Peter's and Siena, 127.5, but I guess I will hold off on that one for now, but I definitely like that one. The under in the Wofford game, I'll take that one. Wofford under 141 minus 110. That's the current line at the Greek and U wager. Lean under in NC Greensboro, Chattanooga for sure. Lean under in Monmouth Rider, but I'm going to hold off on both those for now. Lean under in Siena St. Peter's, but I'm going to hold off on that one for now. And that's it for me. I'm just going to throw on those 2 totals in college basketball. Jimmy the Bag.
I like those totals, and I'm going to be looking into them in the afternoon. But okay. I think I'm going to take a shot with Nebraska +4.
Yeah?
I don't think I'll get +4 in the afternoon show.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Nebraska +4. Let's find the best line for you, Jimmy the Bag. Let's do some line shopping here at SBRodds.com. Jimmy the Bag, line shopping. Nebraska to +4 minus 110. That's it. Minus 110 is the best line we can give.
Now, there's a lot of people on different sides. Matricia Gilbert says...
minus 105. Sorry. Bookmaker, minus 105.
Says 105. All you are stupid taking Nebraska.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But other people like Nebraska. Dark Kent says Wisconsin wins, but Nebraska covers. Jansen Bonzone says Nebraska's been providing food for my family lately. Nate Pereira says I love Nebraska and Michigan. Jose Ing says Wisconsin due for a big home win. Retro Star, nice to have him back, man. I miss this guy. Says Nebraska never let me down, Jim. Trust. Eric Switek says Jimmy, Wisconsin's starting to become a very popular pick. Think people are getting cute here. I'm taking the Huskers. Interesting. Robert Gilmore says stay off Nebraska. And Dark Kent says, Loshak, don't tail them on Lehigh.
Yeah, I don't know. Look, the line move and the analysis, and then Maxwell Smart. I respect Jimmy's breakdowns of these games very much, and it's now down to 3 market wide. I mean, I guess Bookmaker and the Greek are the only ones still hanging 3.5. Everywhere else has 3. It was 4 just a minute ago, so that's a pretty significant move there, and that's not an accident. And I'm gonna pull it back. The line move also informs my pullback of my play. All right, Jimmy the Bag, we got to wrap this shit up. Is there anything else you want to add for college basketball?
No, but if so, I've got what? Can you
just 3 picks: Illinois, Chicago +4.5, Lehigh +3.5, and Nebraska +4.
Love it.
Minus 105. My picks in college basketball so far, Wofford minus 11. I also took back Holy Cross and Lehigh. So I got Holy Cross minus 3, minus 125, and Lehigh plus 3.5, minus 110. UIC plus 4, plus 107. Duke first half minus 8 and the full game minus 14.5. Citadel plus 16. NC Greensboro minus 7, minus 110. I did throw that one on there. NC Greensboro minus 7, minus 110. And for totals, I have thrown on, where the hell are they? For totals, I have thrown on just 2. Hold on one second. Samford game under 148, minus 110, and the Wofford game under 141. And my leans would be the NC Greensboro Chattanooga game under 130. The St. Peter's Siena game under 127.5. That would definitely be a lean. And a lesser lean to the under in Monmouth Rider at 154, minus 110. Those are 3 totals leans that I don't quite have the balls to give right now, but those are ways that I'm definitely leaning. And as far as sides are concerned, that's about it. I gave all the leans. I gave all the leans that I had for sides. All right, Jimmy the Bag, let's move on, huh?
Yeah, man.
All right, just very quickly, we're going to talk about NFL, right? We're going to talk about NFL.
Yeah.
We can throw that NFL record up there. Jim's record in NFL and my record has been pretty good. Overall on the season, very good. Of course, I came top 10 in the Beat the Bag contest. Overall, did pretty well in the NFL this year. And Jim and I, of course, are going to be doing a live bet cast this Sunday from Jaco Beach, Costa Rica, with Donnie Rightside and with friggin' Gabe Morency. We're going to be doing a pregame show, an in-game show, a halftime show, then a post-halftime show, in-game show, and then maybe even a post-full game show.
They've asked for a post-full game show.
So we're doing all. This is going to be a crazy long day. We might not all survive. I think we will. Are you looking forward to this, Jimmy the Bag?
I am. I'm looking forward to it very much. The goal is just not to get too fucked up on Saturday night. I'm 38 years old. I should be able to not get too fucked up on a night when I tell myself I'm consciously aware not to. So I plan on doing that, not get too fucked up. But I'm very excited. I still haven't figured out exactly what move to make.
Yes. Well, of course, in the Monday show, right after these lines came out last week, I said that I did take Philly, and at that point it was 5.5. I said I took them, and I bought up to 6, minus 119. It's now down to 4.5.
Wow.
You know that, right? There's been a pretty big move in favor of Philly. 5.5 down to 4.5. Imagine if this one gets bet back up to 5.5 and lands on 5. All of Vegas will be put out of business, Jim.
That's hilarious. Well, I mean, I think that the line will come back a bit as soon as Gronk is announced that he's good to go.
The total has not moved at all. It was 48 when it opened, and I took a small shot at the over at 48. It's still 48 right now. Total has not moved at all, but a move has been a market move to Philadelphia. It's now just down to a 4.5. And Jimmy, of course, the best way to bet the Super Bowl can often be with props. Huge value on props, and there's a couple of professional prop bettors that I know who bet like 90% of their entire bankroll just on Super Bowl props because they're all hedged out. You know what I mean? So they're okay. But these are they're fucking nerds, right? These are fucking advanced bettors who know what they're doing, and they have an advanced algorithm for betting Super Bowl props. So there's no way that they can go bankrupt. You know. But the point is that there can be huge value on Super Bowl props, and let's start thinking about that this week, Jim, right?
Well, I tell you already I'm going to be taking overs in the punting situation.
Yeah?
I do think that there is going to be a lot of very important punting spots. And I think that they're going to lean towards like on the 4th and shorts and stuff like that. I think they're going to be punting. I think there's going to be a lot of positional play is going to be so important. So my very first instinct is to take the overs in almost all of the punting props.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming that those punting props are going to be very, very low because of the teams involved. So you're going to get great numbers there, Jim.
That's what I'm expecting. I'm expecting a lot of people thinking there's going to be a lot of offense in this game, and taking the punting props is almost like taking an under. So that my very first instinct is to jump on those punting props, and I plan to break them down a lot this week.
Wow, Darryl Lyle says some dude in Vegas put $500,000 money line on Philly. 1%er. That's got to be a 1%er. Wow. Let's see. A lot of people liking Philly. Here you go, though. Joshua Yanez says Pats will win but won't cover. Let's see. A lot of people saying that the Pats that they're liking the Pats here. Rem Wilson says he likes the Pats. Yeah, so but a lot of the best bets can be, receiving props, yardage props, sack props, those kinds of things. Those tend to be the bets that I make on the Super Bowl more than the, obviously much more than betting on one team to win or lose against the spread. A lot of people, Jose Rodriguez, Pats win and don't cover the spread. LOL, a lot of people saying the Pats win but don't cover, except for Jansen Bonzone, who says Pats 31, Eagles 13. Jansen Bonzone predicting a blowout win by the Pats. Wow. All right. Okay. Well, we're going to be debating and discussing the NFL all week long. We might throw in some NFL segments in many of our shows coming up this week, just in case, Jim, if you ever have a prop or something that you want to discuss in a show last minute, just tell me and we'll throw in a little NFL segment, right?
Sounds great. Well, then, what I would like to do moving forward is... the first Saturday in May, the Kentucky Derby's coming up, and the Derby prep races are coming. I wouldn't mind every maybe Friday just to do like a 5 or 10 minute thing on just who are the top 3-year-olds, who's moving forward.
I mean, if you have the time to be prepared for that, we can do it, Jim.
Cool. I think that'd be something that would be interesting for everybody, and I follow all the prep races very closely.
Very nice, very nice. Okay, Ren Wilson says, how do so many people like the Eagles? Backup QB, haven't played a Super Bowl in forever. Foles has one good game and everyone is in love. I don't know about that. Foles is an experienced NFL quarterback, and I think they're just seeing a legitimate Super Bowl team that is not lucky to be there, getting big points, and I think that's mostly it.
Yeah.
Okay, we got to wrap it up. We're gonna. Wanma's saying. Wanma's like, I don't get paid overtime for this shit, right, Wanma? All right, we got to wrap it up. We are way over time, but thanks everyone for tuning in. We'll be back at 6 o'clock Eastern time. We're gonna go over the line moves of all the picks we've given today. Thanks so much, everyone.